Good morning, afternoon, evening, from wherever you are listening. Welcome back to the Breakevens podcast. My name is Corey, and as always, with me is Jack.
Hello.
Jack, round 12 is over. The first of the bye rounds. Thank God. Only two to go. For most teams out there, Friday night was an absolute stinker. But luckily, we had a few guys on the Saturday and Sunday that went huge and sort of made up for it. As always, thank you all for your ongoing support. It is insane how many people just keep popping up and are finding us and Trade Talk Tuesday, which was on Wednesday this week, because I forgot. There was a few people on there, and people's teams are basically full primo, which is great to see. So you can find us on Twitter at BreakevensPod, and we're on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. If you just search the Breakevens, you will see our logo, and we are there. So in today's podcast, we're going to review the last round's games, our hot and colds, our break evens, and of course we'll talk about our personal teams, how we went, what our overall is, and what trades we're looking to do. And of course, I will go through the VC and C options. So, Jack, how did you go last round?
I mean, this was my average bye week. I had around 18 play, including rookies. Stupidly, I forgot to put the emergency on Robbie McComb, so I lost 43 points there. I finished on 1,699, so I had a tough week. Thankfully, I had Took Miller vice captain, which I made Josh Kelly captain as he didn't play and got that double, so that really saved me. Going into my rank, I've dropped 4,500, which was better than what I thought would have happened.
Yeah,
especially with a score like that. So I'm back up to 13,614. Getting into plays, Tom Stewart, the concussion really hurt. Going off his average, that's 1,800, almost 1,900 on scoring just from that alone. But then you got Lockie Neal, who had an 87, English 80, Dunkley 66, Trelaw 82, and I forgot to put the 43 emergency on McComb.
Yep.
Obviously, didn't help.
Awesome. Trades this week, you doing any? Because I don't think you did any last week, did you?
No. So last week I didn't, and this week I was only doing the one, but with team news that came out just before, I've done the two.
Yep.
So I've gone Saligo, the GOAT, down to Owens.
Okay.
And Hayes down to Sternadica, however you fucking say his weird name. Yeah, him. Mainly because he's 102k more money in the bank. And he plays for West Coast, so he'll be a good loophole option.
Yeah.
Because they won't have many games. I've done the double downgrade, which leaves me with 366k, which next week will be McComb up to Rory Laird, and that will be my midfield sorted.
Yep.
And then I'll probably do a downgrade, maybe a Greg Clark down to someone just to have money to upgrade Paddy McCartan to be full primo.
Awesome. So how many trades do you have as it stands?
I have 13.
13. So what, you'll use about another 4. So you'll be around that 8 to 9 at full primo.
Yeah, I'll be around 10.
Yep. Nice.
Because it's McComb up and then one down, one up.
Yep. Nice.
It should be at least.
Awesome. So my team, I scored 1,859, which isn't a bad score. I was what I try and do is try and get as close to 2,000 plus as I can. I was about 140 off this week. Not much I can do. I had most of my back line out, but I'll take 1859. Still made progress, so moved up 2,108 spots. So now I'm ranked 26,604th. Still 13,000 behind Jack, but I think that's going to change. One thing I did forget to ask Jack is, what rank would you be happy with? So right now you're 13,000. By the end of Supercoach, what rank would you like to be?
Honestly, anything around that 5,000 would be nice.
Yep.
Especially with the struggles I've had the last few seasons, being around there would be good to
Yep.
push up on. But yeah, no, look, if I don't go down, if I'm below 20k, I'm happy.
Yep.
A 5k would be nice, but if I'm under 20k, I'll be satisfied.
Awesome. Yeah. So I was hoping to be in the top 1,000, but with how things have happened, that's probably not going to happen. So I'm aiming for top 5,000. If I can, try and get top 3,000 and get my highest finish ever. As I said it at the very start in the first podcast, I finished just outside the top 3,000 last year. So I'm hoping to get into that top 3,000. But that means the second half of the season, I have to jump 23,000 spots, which is going to be tough. So I'm hoping top 5,000. So what happened for me this week? I had the VC on Rory Laird, who scored 136. And Lucky Neil was my captain, and I decided to take Rory Laird's 136 via the VC loophole. I'm pretty sure I had Jaden Short captain. So that was great. Obviously, if you look at who scored, if I had the captain on Took Miller like you did, Jack, obviously everyone would have scored more. But I was really happy with the 136. I had a few rookies on field, which wasn't great, but none of them really scored poorly. I think my lowest was 40 by Brady Hoff. And then the rest were 50 plus. And obviously McCartan got 95, which was great. So this week, I'm looking to field 17 players for the round. I fielded 18 last week. So now I'm fielding 17. So anything 1,800 plus is will be a good week for me. This is my hardest week. I'm doing 2 trades. Trades this week is McComb, who's done a great job for me. I got him after his first game, or just before his first game. I got him, and he's pumped out some good scores for me. So he leaves, and in comes Owens from St Kilda, who's no certainty to play, so I could be 16 players. And Paddy McCartan, as I said, he scored 95. Has a breakout even of 50. Spoiler for coming up, but it's breakout even of 50. So there's still money there. But I've decided to move him on for Tom Stewart, who is concussed and out this week, but they have a bye. So realistically, I could have brought someone in that isn't Tom Stewart, but I've decided to jump on him now just because I want him, and I might not be able to get him next week. So I've jumped straight on him there. So that means I have 9 trades left. And all I need to do is get an M8. So I'm looking around 6 trades left to be full primo. Well, once full primo, 6 trades left. And then I can fix up, pardon me, fix up any people if like Butters still isn't, firing as he should. I can do a few correction trades there, but all in all, I'm happy where my team's at. All right, we'll go through the VC and C options. I've got 4 VC and C options that I would say are the more likely choices, and then I've got 4 roughy picks. You'll be happy with a few roughy picks, Jack. You like them, so
Love the roughies.
So the first one is Lachie Neale versus the Saints. I checked up his past 3 games and doesn't usually score great against St Kilda. But with how Lachie Neale has been going, he's had a few down weeks, like the one just gone. He's always an option. Saints don't really tag. With Steele there, it's probably a bit easier to get the ball. So Lachie Neale is a VC option, and he's someone I'm going as VC this week. That game is the Saturday night as well. Next is Clary Oliver playing Collingwood on the Monday, so he'll be a captain option. He averages 119 in his last 3 against Collingwood. He's actually my captain, so I'm going Neale into Oliver at the moment. 119. His 3-round average is absolutely bonkers as well. If I can get it up, 3-round average of 141.7. So it's hard not to jump on him. So that's what I've gone. Next in that same game is Max Gawn. He averages 128 against Collingwood, and that's usually with Grundy in that side. But that's his last 2 games against Collingwood. He averages that. I think he might have missed one. So he plays on the Monday. So those who have gone, it's a 50-50 between Clary and Gawn for the captain, I reckon. Next, Jack, you'll be happy with this man, and I've got something about him. Josh Kelly. He's playing the Roos. Averages 121 in his last 3 against the Kangas. I've got a stat here about Josh Kelly centre bounce attendances. Under Leon Cameron, he averaged 14.1 centre bounces per game. Under McVeigh, in the small sample we've had, he averages 24.5 centre bounces a game and is the highest for GWS. So what I get from that, an extra 10 centre bounces a game gives you an opportunity to score an extra 20 plus points.
It probably shows why the last few weeks he's been dropping 130s for fun. Obviously, last week he had to buy, but...
Yes. So for those who are feeling risky, you can go with Josh Kelly, but I don't think you'd VC him. It'll have to be a captain, seeing that they play on the Sunday.
Well, I've got him VC.
So I'm guessing you're going Kelly into Clary, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep, so you're leaving it late, which is a bit risky. Usually you like to have that nice early VC, but...
I'm leaving it late. I've got about 12 people playing this week, so it doesn't matter.
But he's a great choice, I think. So now we'll go on to the roughy picks. 2 of them play tomorrow night. So we've got Travis Boak, who averages 115 versus Richmond. As I said, they play tomorrow night on a Thursday. Yeah, so Boak Thursday night against Richmond hasn't been scoring great as of late, but it seems like he likes playing against Richmond. So
Who
um, he's
doesn't?
he's a roughie there. I've put Dan. We have Houston. We have a problem. 107 versus Richmond. He seems to have taken his game up to the next level this year. So 107 in the past could easily be that 115 and 120. So I personally wouldn't do it, but with a decent average against Richmond, is a very big roughie. Um, Next is Walsh versus the Bombers. They play on Friday night. Um, Not the best record against the Bombers, but I just have a feeling, Jack. I have a feeling that Walsh could go absolutely massive. So I've just put him in just because I have an inkling. So Friday night could be a
I like
VC.
it.
You could go a bit riskier with the VC there on the Friday night. Um, and the last roughie, I've put Stephen Cornelio. Mark McVeigh came out and said, yes, we've moved him into the midfield. He seems to be reacting a lot better and obviously playing better football. So I'm going to say he's going to play more time in there. Um, Same with Kelly. They're playing the Roos. Yeah, averages 120, so they basically average the same. But that's 120 over the last two games. There was a game in there he didn't play due to injury. So Cogs could be a sneaky captain if you are feeling risky. And that's all I have for the VC and C options. So we'll quickly move on to the break evens, and then I will go through the first game. So the break evens team, we scored 1,821. We moved up 1,421 spots, and we're now ranked 29,960th. So not too bad. Obviously, the team's starting to shape a little bit. So we're hoping to get in that top 20,000, maybe push top 15,000 by the end of the year, I think. I didn't stuff up this week, Jack. Uh, Thanks to your big brain, we've VC'd and loopholed Tuk score of 167. If you don't know, last week, our VC, whoever it was, I forgot to loophole, which means we lost out on a big score. But
Pretty sure
didn't
it was
happen this.
Clary or someone like that.
Yeah, so didn't happen this week. Stewart got going down with a concussion, hurt us, but we can't really complain too much. He's done the job for us all year. So and obviously we had rookies on the field, so our score wasn't as good as it could have been, but that's the buys. So trade wise, we're doing 3 trades this week. Jack, I sent through my thoughts to you earlier, and I'm pretty sure you liked it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go Sam Hayes down to Teagle from Port Adelaide. He is a ruck forward, and I'll tell you why I did this. Okay, so he's a ruck forward DPP. We're also got rid of McDonald to Judson Clark, who's making his debut for Richmond this week. We did have Tex Wanganeen there because he's played a few games, could get a chance later in the season. But with someone who could get a few weeks in, we've gone Judson Clark there, 117K. And we've gone McComb to Max Gorm. Now, some of you out there, McComb is a mid forward, Gorn is a ruck. How has that happened? Well,
Sam
we
Hayes Figgery.
we got Tim English last week. He's obviously ruck forward. So what we did is we switched Maurice Rioli into the midfield on the bench. We switched Tim English into the forward line, which means we needed someone to fill in for that ruck. So we've got Max gone. Now, going to Teakle, who is our R3 on the bench. If Witz or Gorn get injured, all we do, swap him with Tim English. Tim English is our ruckman, and then we put Teakle onto the onto the forward bench, and we have a rookie play. So it's just a bit of flexibility. I was supposed to do it last week with my team, but I was too late, and I'm stuck with Stranatica now. But yeah, basically we just moved a whole bunch of people around, and we're able to get Robbie McComb up to max score, which is absolutely nuts. Now, unfortunately, that means we only have 16 players to field this week if all the rookies play. So not ideal, could be a lot worse. As Jack said, he's got about 12 people playing. But that means we have 8 trades left, and all we need to do is upgrade our M8 to finish the team, which we could do over the next couple of weeks. So we'll probably be left with 4 to 5 trades to improve the team if there's any injuries or people underperforming. So that's what we're doing there, expecting some big things. So I had the first game, which was, as we get into our hot and colds and stuff, sorry, just double check it was the first game. Yep, it was the Dogs versus the Cat. Alrighty, so the Cats won by 13 points. I thought personally the Doggies were going to get up. It was at Marvel. I thought we were going to see a bit of an upset, but the Dogs are in a bit of a slump right now, and Jeremy Cameron kicked 6 goals, which was pretty tough. So let's get straight into the hots for the Doggies. Libba, 123. He's been playing well very recently. Bailey Dale, 113. The Bont, 109. And Jack McRae, 107. And the hots for the Cats, as I said, Jeremy Cameron kicked 6, so 153 there for him. Mitch Duncan, 117. Tommy Hawkins, 102. Reece Stanley, 102. Cam Guthrie, who's averaging over 100 at the moment, 101. Zach Tui, 101, and a big dint in his forehead from Bailey Smith. And Zach Guthrie, I've put there, who's got a 96. As we move over to the Colds, I've put Trelaw here, Jack, 82. We want a bit more from him. Tim English got an 80. Bailey Smith, 67, and is suspended for 2 weeks because that headbutt. And Josh Dunkley only got a 66. It wasn't a good Friday night, as I said at the start. As we move over to the Colds for the Cats, Blitzarves, 83. I've put him there because he's been averaging over 100 recently. Tom Stewart, 39, as we said, concussion, out for a week, but they have the bye. And Cooper Stevens only got a 33. As we move to the break-evens for the Doggies, Buku as a break-even of 12. Robbie McComb, 50. Libba, 96. Dale, also 96. Trelaw, 114. English, 119. Dunkley, 134. McRae, 135. Bont, 139. And Bailey Smith, 143. So some big break-evens there. Keep an eye on it. And for the Cats, Cooper Stevens, 32. Sam DeConning, 65, who, by the way, he's been up there with McCartan the last 5 or so weeks, just 70 pluses, which we weren't expecting at the start of the season, so keep going. Cam Guthrie, 84. And Tommy Stewart, when he comes back from his concussion, 144 there. And that's all I had for that game. So, Jack, you had the Crows versus the Eagles.
Yes, which the Crows won by 31. Surprisingly, not really, because they played the bye. Getting into the hots, Tex Walker, 150. He's done what he did last year.
He's averaging 100.
Yeah, last year, what was it? First half of the season, he was averaging like 110 or something like that, and
Yep.
then he turned to shit and become a racist. So not good signs here for Tex. Going off history. Watch out. Rory Laird, 136. Ben Keys, 117. Jordan Dawson, 106. Darcy Fogarty, 105. And I've put Shane McAdam, a 99, and Jackson Haley, 96. They played very well. Getting onto the the Eagles. We got Andrew Gaff, 130. Tom Barras, 126. And Shannon Hearn, 111. Getting into the cold, Riley O'Brien has come back down to earth after last week with a 78. Matt Crouch is 77, probably should kick the ball more. And Alex Witherden, 66. Getting into the break evens, we got my boy Saligo at 26. Riley O'Brien, 57. Tex Walker, 64. Ben Keys, 94. So he reached that break even last week and it's gone down a bit, which we love to see. Rory Laird, 114. Matt Crouch, 121. And Jordan Dawson, 124. Getting onto the Eagles, you got Hoff at a -6 and Clark at an 18.
Yeah, so there's not too many choices at West Coast, so it's just looking at those two rookies until um, they're done making cash, and then we won't have to put anyone for West Coast.
On West Coast every week.
That's it for that game.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I had the next game, which is the Suns versus the Kangas. The Suns won by 62. They also played the bye. Hots, not much hotter than Took Miller, 167. Went absolutely huge. Saved a few teams out there with the VCC. Matty Rowell, 125. Will Powell, 119. Jared Witts, 117. Lockwell, 108, but unfortunately has done his knee and he's out for the season. Isaac Rankin, 102, and Malcolm Roses, 83. Roses is up there with Ben Hobbs for me. He's on the never touch again list because he's fucked me over. As we move to the Kangas, Luke Davies-Uniacke doing more than Greenwood again, 109. Goldstein, 98, and that boy Greenwood, 98 as well. There wasn't much there for the Kangas. They're a bit like West Coast. The Colds, I've put Jeffrey, 64. It's a bit harsh. He's a rookie, 64. You'd take that. But he was averaging 90 odd. So that's 30 points under. So I decided to chuck him in. Marbiel Chol, 60. Again, has just been averaging high lately. So I've put him in there. And Ben Mackay, 30 for the Kangas, and he's out with a concussion. As we move over to the break evens, Jeffrey, -9, Roses, 4, Matty Rowell, 35, Took Miller, 64, and Jared Witts, 129. He's basically maxed out. And for the Kangas, Paul Curtis, 18, and I've put Goldstein there, 87. Not much to talk about in that game. So, Jack, you had the D's versus the Swans.
Yes, which I've said of the round, the Swans won by 12.
Yes.
And caused a few punch-ons. Going into Hots, Maxi Gorn, 1 if you had him, and 2 if you had him vice captain or captain. Congratulations.
Yeah,
big 198.
I mean, to be fair, he was on 104 at halftime, so he went a bit cold in that second half, and he scored a 94.
Yeah, look, I think he just went to sleep.
Yeah.
When jumped into bed with his popcorn, watching that ad in his pajamas.
Gossip Girl.
Yeah, that's the one. Got Clary, 134. Brayshaw 130. Sorry, I just had to read that again. He's actually scored over 100 for the first time since he's 170 odd that he scored in round 3.
No, he's been all right. He's been in my draft squad, so I've been keeping an eye on him. He hasn't been doing too bad.
You got Jack Varney 106, and my rookie call from last year, Michael Jordan with a 93, which only if we did the podcast last year, everyone would know. And then for the Sydney Swans, we got Sam Reid 136,
Or
Errol Gordon.
as Luke Darcy was calling him for most of the game, Ben Reid. Ben
Oh,
Reid's retired, mate.
Ben Reid's probably down playing for Heidelberg. Errol Gordon 126, Callum Mills 113, the Lizard Nick Blakey 102, and Paddy McCartan. How can you not chuck his name down? A big 95 for the big fella. Colds, Christian Petrarca, he can get stuffed. I took him in draft. I was gassed about it. And after round 1, he's done nothing. Luke Jackson, 52. And obviously, Malcolm and May had a couple too many beverages and threw a few punches because Stephen May goes, mate, you're shit. Which I respect.
So,
and he's not wrong.
And Malcolm's having surgery on his hand, so it must be a good punch.
It's an infection, and Dr. Peter Larkin, the man still alive, was saying he must have punched him, and when he punched in between his knuckles, must have gone in his mouth, and that causes infection quite quickly onto your hand with the bacteria and stuff, and that's what caused it.
Dr. Jack Larkin's over here.
Look at me. I go to university to study being a doctor. And for Sydney in the Colts, we got Jake Lloyd with an 89, but he's been shit this year. Going into the break-evens, Max Gorn's got a 31, so look, I don't think he's going to score it, especially after last week's form.
Coming up against Cameron and Cox, one might be a tough matchup.
Lukey Jackson 104, Clary 152, and Petrarca 186. Look, he's not even going to get 86, so he's screwed.
He's not
for the 18. Swans. Hey,
he's not even going to get 18.
Nah. For the Swans, Paddy McCartan 52, Nick Blakey 81, Luke Parker, Smokey, I said at the start of the year 110, Isaac Heaney 116, who is dropped off the last 4 weeks. He's shown the real Heaney, which for people who didn't jump on him is now laughing. And Callum Mills 137, which people who don't have him yet might get a bit excited that he might drop in price.
Yeah.
And that's all I had for that interesting game.
Awesome. All right, so I had the best game of the round. Hawks versus Pies. The Mighty Pies won by 4 points.
What a great game that was, by the way.
It was great. Dry then wet game. We were looking pretty comfortable, but the second half, the Hawks came out to play. They hit the front, but thanks to Ollie Henry and a long bomb in hurricane rain conditions by Jordan DeGoey, we were able to get over the line. So sucked into all Hawthorn supporters. So we'll go into the hots for the Hawks. Mitch Lewis, 106. He was really the one of two, because I'll speak about this other guy in a second, but he was one of two to really kickstart the Hawks. The other one is Jai Newcomb, 99. His game, he's taken up 3 levels this year. He's a good chance for the Rising Star, but I'm probably going to name someone in a couple of seconds who's going to win that and the Brownlow. As we move...
Oh, it must be Scott Pendlebury.
as we move to the hots for the pies, Darcy Cameron, 129. He just keeps going. For those who jumped on him when Grundy went down, you guys are geniuses. Jack Patalapinski, 119.
My king.
One thing is he looked a bit sore at training today. He was just walking around, didn't really do much skill work. So could be an out this week, but I think we just play him and then he'll have the bye round off.
Do you know why he looked sore today? Because he actually ran. He worked. Oh.
And next we had Nick Dacos, 113. He had 36 possessions and he's winning the Rising Star. And the Brownlow still was that. Last week I said I wouldn't be naming this person again in the hots, and he's done it again, still side bottom, 105. Jack Crisp, a flat 100. And I just want to do a quick shout out to Ollie Henry, who went from 31 to 81 with just one kick.
I think he finished on like 83 or something, didn't he?
Oh, did he? I'm not sure, but yeah. As we move over to the Colds for the Hawks, Tom Mitchell, 83. It's just sad to see. So
I think we were wrong. We both had him in the top 10.
Yeah.
This average, 200? Do you have a chance now?
Yeah, no, he's not getting it. And Jackie Gunston, 29, hurt his ankle, but he's a test for this week and should play, they've said.
I think they have to buy.
I think it's next week.
Oh, yeah, no, it's next week.
He's playing. No. Yeah, what do you want about, mate?
Yeah. I'm a doctor, not a genius. Come on.
Yeah, true. And the Colds for the Pies, Pendle, 75, and Jeremy Howe, 73. I try and put Howe in every week. And most weeks it's in the cold section. So
one thing with Pendlebury, he played midfield majority of the game and his score goes down.
Yeah.
It could be conditions, but I'm just saying he played majority midfield and his score did go down.
Yeah, he's not where he stands, it's not usually a place where you get a lot of possessions. I think he's there for that I guess exit handball rather than the actual clearance. So he's losing a bit of points there. And yeah, I'd probably say it was just conditions, but lately he hasn't been scoring well. So maybe there's a possible injury, but saying that, why would they be playing him full midfield? Well, mostly midfield anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
As we move into the break evens, Sammy Butler with a 5 for the Hawks, Connor McDonald 34, Tom Mitchell 119, and Sisley 128. Looks like he has maxed out in price.
How does Connor McDonald still only have a 34 break even? He's been on it for the last 12 weeks. He hasn't scored anything over 50.
So what happens is because he's not scoring big points, he hasn't really made that much money. Like he's just over 200k now. So at 200k, you're still looking at, just for about those 40s and 50s, which he's doing. So unless he has an absolute stinker, he's not really going, it's not really going to change too much. And for the Pies, Nick Dacos has gone down to a 48 break even, but I think most people have jumped off. Jordan De Goey, 59. Pat Lipinski, 69. Darcy Cameron, 75. Jack Chris, 121. And Pendle's 133. That's all I have for that game. So So Jack had the last game, which was Freo versus the Lions.
Yeah, which Freo won by 14. Some say it's an upset, but with how Freo's season going at home, I really wouldn't say it's an upset. If it was a smashing, yes, but a close game, it could have gone either way as they're second and third on the ladder. Getting into the hots for Freo, Will Brodie didn't make it through the banner, but he scored 125. The breakout king has scored 119.
Get around,
Get around him. We jumped on too early with him. We should have got him halfway through the season at about 200k.
Yep.
James Aish 114. It is James, yeah.
Yeah.
Aish, yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, it is now, mate. 114. Andy Brayshaw 113, and Frederick, who's been suspended a week for drinking some alcoholage, scored a 99. The same day as May and Malcolm's fight came out, which I think was yesterday. Freo said that they've given a 1-match suspension to Frederick because he's been drinking the alcohol in between rounds, and that's against team spirit or team some shit like that. Getting
also,
on to
can confirm it is James H.
It is James, fantastic. Getting on to the hots for Brisbane, we got Dan Rich, 119. He had a slow start, but he's been very good this year again. Zach Bailey, 115. He's been a little more consistent than usual, but not as much as we'd like.
Yeah.
And Dane Zorko, the man who's bloody going to have DPP in every position by the end of the year, if it was possible, with 103. Getting into the colds, and it's the first time in about 2-3 weeks Collingwood hasn't had a Freo game, and Luke Ryan has finally gone under 100. He's got 84. Dave Mundy scored his age with a 65, and Sean Darcy with a 59.
Big Shrek.
He had a stinker. Getting on to Brizzy, we've got Lockie Neal with an 82, and I think that's an 18-point second half from him. He had 64 at half time. My maths could be wrong, but I think it's around 18 points.
18 looks good to me.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm a doctor, not a mathematician.
That's a Gardner with a 9. That is a reference. We've done our first reference in like 12 weeks. We've got our first reference. You legend.
Thank you. Gardner, 19, a rib injury.
Yeah.
Not sure if it's broken or anything like that, but it has him down with ribs. Getting into the break-evens, we got Ryan with a 57, which we better check who Freo's playing, because if you have the Freo game, he's going to double that. Brayshaw with 101, Will Brodie 108. Let's hope he can get through to Banner this week. And Darcy 141. Getting into the Brizzy Lions, Lockie Neal 123, Daniel Rich 128, Dane Zorko 134, and the suitcase himself, Hugh McCluggage 148. And that's all that I've got for that game, which was the last game of the round.
Awesome. So I've got just one thing to add here about GWS. Mark McVeigh has come out and spoken about Braden Pruce, who a lot of people still have and were holding, because it was only a 1 week, but now it's turned into a couple more. So he's come out and said he's had a bit of an illness, a few little body issues. He had a really hard session today. He looked good. He's on the right direction, hopefully to be available. But if not, we'll put that to next week. So if Bruce is not named this week, it's, I think, the 3rd or 4th week he's had out. So I think it's time for people to just go cruise to a English or a Gone if you haven't yet. So just keep that in mind. Um, and that's all I've got. Jack, do you have anything you want to add?
I was just gonna say, and from the Giants camp, apparently there's a big sound they're already celebrating playing the bye this week.
um,
But after
actually,
that, no.
Taranto is out for another week. Callum Ward and Woodfield should be back this week. So those who have wear, like I do, just be careful since he
And
might
that's
not play.
obviously not good news for Hamilton, which probably gives me 11 players this week. Fun.
um, but on that sad, depressing note for Jack, that'll do us for tonight's podcast. Was there anyone we missed? Obviously, there was a bye, so there was 6 teams we didn't go through. Is there anyone you want to know? Let us know on Twitter or in the YouTube comments. What is your rank? We want to know. That's a thing that I've added into Trade Talk Tuesdays. Is let us know your rank and what trades you are going to do. As I said, you can let us know on Twitter or YouTube. So thank you again for all your support and for listening and watching on Apple Podcasts and on YouTube. Don't forget to hit us up on Twitter at Breakevens Pod and YouTube. Just search the Breakevens and we will be there. So that's it. So good luck for round 13. And on that note,
13.
as always, until next week, it's bye for now.
See ya.